Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I would try something different and answer some questions that I've had from viewers of the videos. Thanks so much for watching too and commenting. There's been so many great comments, and I really like the fact that there's such a great community, a great film community on YouTube. One of the questions that I've gotten recently, I'm not going to name anyone here, is when you get a Criterion Collection Blu-ray, what do you do first? Do you watch the movie first? Do you look at extra features first and things like that? And my answer usually is it depends on the director or the material. And I'll use an example. So one of the examples I talked about recently in a video is Tootsie, which is a Sidney Pollack film that I've seen many, many times on TV, on DVD, on VHS probably, and now the Blu-ray. So I've seen it a lot. Once I first received the film, this special edition of it, I'm really going to focus on the special features and some of the things that I haven't seen before. So in this particular one, as soon as I got it, I had seen some clips of this online, but when I put it on, I immediately watched the interview with Dustin Hoffman and comedy writer Phil Rosenthal. If I remember correctly, Dustin Hoffman got very emotional when he spoke about this film, so it was interesting to get his perspective. It's a brand new interview for this release. So I might go through some of these things, the making of Tootsie, A Better Man, the making of Tootsie 2007, a couple of documentaries. I might actually watch those, and I may not even watch the film because I've seen it so many times. I may watch the film with a new perspective after having seen some of the supplemental materials, and I may actually put the film on. But in this case, I just looked at the supplemental features, and we'll save the watching of the film for another time. So hopefully that answers the question. I really enjoy getting questions too, so if you do have a question, please leave a comment below of anything you're curious about that maybe I can help answer, whether it's related to the Criterion Collection or any other film. I was going to use another example, which I had for my last haul too, this movie, 24 Frames. It's an Abbas Kiarostami film, his last film, and I haven't seen this film yet. So what I might do, since I'm familiar with Kiarostami's work, is I might just put this one right on and not even look at the special features, because I'm familiar with his work. I'd like to see this movie fresh. And having said that, I might, I think in this particular case, I had already seen on the Criterion channel, I had seen the interview with Ahmad Kiarostami, who helped to finish the film. So in this case, even though the supplemental materials are included here, I had seen this on the Criterion channel. I'd already watched it. So for a director that I'm familiar with, but I haven't seen their work, I would probably just put the film on to see how I felt about it. Watching films to me has always been a personal endeavor. So, and I really think that's the way it is for many of us that watch movies, right? We have a personal connection to films for a variety of reasons. And so there's some films that I connect with at a certain period in my life, and then there's other films that I may have to wait a while. One of those examples is, and this kind of leads into another question that I get often, is if I'm approaching a new filmmaker or studying some new films and I'm looking at a filmmaker's work, which movie do I start with? Because most filmmakers have many, many films that they make. And my answer is typically, I start at the beginning, which makes sense to start at the beginning, but I would start with a filmmaker's first film. I want to see where they started, where they began. Many times that film is not available, depending on the director's work and things like that. But one example, though, is a filmmaker by the name of Ingmar Bergman, a very famous filmmaker. And I had watched a few of his films, maybe The Seventh Seal, Wild Strawberries, some of those films, but I hadn't really studied his work at all. And so I wasn't really sure where to start with him, but I knew that I wanted to get into his films. I had a lot of trouble in the beginning getting into his films. I would rent one of his, or I would borrow one of his movies from the library, and I wasn't able to finish it. And then last year, for whatever reason, at this period in my life, I started to explore Bergman again, and I really got into his films and really enjoyed it. So one of the things I did, and I'm sure there's lots of folks that enjoy the Criterion Collection have this already, but I thought I'd show this, and I haven't really spoken about it on the channel, but it's huge. This box set, which was available last year, I believe, that has all of his work on it, most of his work. It's most all of his work is. I think there's a few films that may be missing, but it's most of his work. In this case, I knew that it was going to take me quite a while to study his films, but I was really getting into them. And in this particular case, for the box set, and maybe I'll make another video just to talk about this box set, I began to watch Bergman's films in the curated order, which is not the order that they were created in. But I really trust Criterion Collection in the fact that they present films in a specific way, especially when you are presenting films in a huge box like this for a reason. And I highly recommend, if you have the box set, to go through in the curated order. The thing that launched me into the Bergman box set, and again, maybe I'll do a more elaborate video on this, is the Faith trilogy. So I think I saw that on TCM. I started watching that on TCM, and I found I was really drawn to his work. And so when I first looked at the box set, I was intrigued by those three films, the Faith trilogy. Anyone that's familiar with Bergman's work will know what that is. And I think I had started to watch Wild Strawberries also. Many people say when you're looking at Bergman's work, to start with a film like Wild Strawberries or The Seventh Seal. Those are good films, they're great films, they're masterpieces. But in my particular case, when I really want to study a filmmaker, I will start at the beginning of the filmmaker's career, or I will do something like this, where I'm watching in a curated order. So the Criterion Collection, again, very good at ordering films in a specific way, that's so that you have a certain experience in film. So again, thanks for watching and commenting. I really appreciate all the comments. If you do have other questions, I'll be happy to answer those. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.